Welcome back to FMN, the Faith Media Network. I'm your host, Kirk Cameron. I'm not a douche. With us today is the famous atheist who is certainly only visiting us as a pit stop on his way to an eternity in hell, Mr. Richard Dawkins. And Mr. Dawkins, thank you for joining us. I know you have a tight schedule today of eating children, defying Christ, and getting gay married.
Yes. I have waited for some time to get a chance to talk with the leader of a movement which is converting impressionable losers into the biggest cretins imaginable. But since the Pope's schedule was too packed, I'm here in this high school gymnasium shooting a video for your shitty website.
Now, Mr. Dawkins, I understand that you are a fan of this so-called theory of evolution. Well, I as a Christian know that Adam sprouted from God's forehead fully grown, performed an awesome ninja flip, and then shot out Eve, who became his wife.
I believe you're getting your myths confused.
And then from Adam and Eve we all descended, which doesn't make us inbred at all. I know this because the Bible tells me so. That's the Holy Bible, Mr. Dawkins. Much better than your crummy science books.
Your so-called Holy Bible was written by a bunch of idiots in a cave 3,000 years ago. There is absolutely no evidence to back up any of its spurious claims, and yet you and millions of others continue to believe in an invisible sky daddy.
Well, at least I have a sky daddy. My sky daddy could kick your daddy's ass.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. You have the mind of a 3-year-old. Go suck on your mother's teat for a few years until your brain is developed enough to debate me.
On the subject of babies, when do atheists consider it too late to have an abortion? Can you suffocate an infant by choking it right after it pops its head out of its mother's vagina? Or can you abort a child that gets a poor report card in first grade?
A baby develops human brain waves near the beginning of the 3rd trimester, so that is the point I feel we should consider it human and protected, just like brain-dead douchebags who host religious talk shows.
I believe that conception begins the first time a man looks at a woman, because that is when his manly juices begin to flow. Just think. Every time you get aroused and do not have sexual intercourse that results in a child, you just murdered millions of potential humans. This is why we all needed Jesus to forgive us for our sins.
Now here is an interesting point. If Jesus has already forgiven me, wouldn't he have to forgive me for not believing in him?
Well, it doesn't really work like that. You have to willingly accept Jesus into your heart.
But how can that be? If your God is so benevolent, why would he condemn people to hell after he has already forgiven them?
Well, that's all the time we have today, folks. Remember to send in your $30 donations and receive a copy of our revised edition of Darwin's Origin of Species. It's 600 pages that all say just 3 words. God did it. Good night, everyone.